One Piece has been really been tugging at the heartstrings this week. Well, especially going off of last chapter and now this one, I can't take this shit anymore. Hello internet, welcome to another episode of Recap Corner. This week I'm talking about One Piece, chapter 845, and what the fuck? Why the fuck, man, do they keep doing this to Sanji? Oda, stop doing this to Sanji, man. I swear to God. It's like a good chunk of this chapter really is like just broken up, man, like into three little like snippets. And honestly, the fucked up part is the fact that Sanji's whole deal here is the fact that he actually reveals that he's actually given up on leaving, because again, like, there's no way. I mean, I believe Puddin did say something about like that. There are even bombs in the wedding rings, so that even after they get married, he can't fucking escape. He will lose his hands regardless. Like, if he doesn't want to be, so like if he wants to like knock off this wedding, and pretty much the bracers are already a problem. The worst part about this is that there's no way to necessarily stop Zeph from getting caught up in this mess. I was kind of thinking though to myself though is that, however, but then again, I think I haven't watched the beginning of One Piece in a long ass while, but it might be a good thing that I don't remember if Zeph was strong enough to fight to beat Don Krieg, but if he was, then I can probably look at this and say, well, no, it's a good chance that Zeph, that he might actually be able to probably hang with Big Mom's crew. I mean, like, he just might, but then again, like, I don't think that's necessarily being like a major plot point, because again, the last time, man, we saw him, he was just a basic ass chef. So I will have to say that yeah, Sanji's whole thing, man, of like, even if he could get them cuffs off, like, Zeph really ain't fucking going to get away. And I was kind of thinking about putting in a hole, because after looking at this chapter and after reading this chapter and looking at the end and everything, of putting practically saying like, or it's like, up on one hand, her saying that yes, I kind of planned for your crew to come and save you and do all these things, but then it wasn't until Sanji kind of said, yeah, my family wasn't even there for me when I was growing up. You know, which is kind of crazy, because he did kind of throw Reiju under the bus though. But you know, because again, she was kind of fucking she was trying to look out for him and everything. But like, the funny part about all that is that like, it is true. Like, for like the past 13 years, his only family was Zeph and like that crew of chefs. So that was about it. And honestly, she does cry about that. But honestly, the funny thing is though is that she tries to help him break out of their wedding before that, and then now that she actually learns like his past, she really wants to help him get away. It's honestly, it kind of feels like a setup. It almost feels like a fucking setup, to whereas that she is just doing this to try and get Sanji to kind of loosen up his guard, so that it can be easier for her to marry him. Because again, out of all the kids that Big Mom made, or at least like out of all of her children, only Lola was possible. I mean, Lola kind of came across, man, as been like a normal, like, okay kind of kid. But honestly, even with all that, you know, she's still like her daughter. You know, she is still like the daughter of Big Mom, and she's still a pirate. She's still out there killing people, causing a ruckus, and doing all this fucked up shit. And you kind of see that Puddin could probably be just hiding her true personality, because again, you look at like the other kids and shit, and like one of her younger daughters and shit, and she's like, I want a knife to fucking mutilate my own like teddy bear, and pretty much her brothers are like, we don't want to give her a knife because she pops all of the fucking balloons and we want to kill her. And Big Mom's response to that is, well, oh man, we all have about like 100 to 200 people that we want to kill. I mean, like, that's nothing normal. It's fucking normal. There's nothing wrong with it, you know, and shit like that. So yeah, wedding. Like, that's kind of how, like, that's kind of what her mindset is. It's kind of scary in the long run, because if I really look at it, it's more or less like, well now, Pudding, like, she gave the Straw Hats this perfect plan to get to Whole Cake Island, or at least like to get to where like they're kind of doing this whole standoff and shit, and then just so happens that they all know where these Straw Hats are at, and that they're in this forest. So it's kind of, you know, fucked up there. It's also kind of fucked up too, to where is that how Luffy's kind of looking at this whole thing and him saying, I am not going to move. I am going to stay here. And honestly, he does kind of hold true to that, to his word. I will have to give it to Luffy, because again, like, even though Big Mom's forces and pretty much Big Mom like fucking released like these fucking like or possibly like somebody released these goddamn like weather cloud-esque things out there to kind of create like a fucking storm and shit, and fucking because of that, you know, it's like, well now, hold on, now Luffy's standing there already hurt, beating the shit out of all of the rest of her goddamn fleet. So it's kind of interesting to see. And when you really think about it, it's like, wait a second, Luffy's already beating all their asses, man, like, in the rain, even though it's sweet rain, and he's still, like, you know, up on, like, his fucking, like, he's on his, cooking strike and whatnot. It's interesting to kind of see how that, if you can look at it, because how they present this is, like, is going on, like, at the same time as Luffy fighting all of her people, and it's like, wait a second, Luffy, well, not that, Big Mom can calmly and casually just fucking like have, man, like a tea date, you know what I mean, with fucking Judge and shit, and then say, wow, man, like those spirits of hers, man, like while they go out and wreak havoc. Now you can look at that and say, well, now shouldn't that pull from her? But honestly, from how this is looking though, it seems as though is that she can just kind of release those fucking things and then they just go out on their own. And then just cause a fucking ruckus. I mean, like, that's kind of what that seems like it is, until she asks it to stop. Yeah, it could be something like that. But from what I can understand, though, this chapter is painful in terms of we just might lose Sanji. This might be the one time in fucking One Piece history where actually one of the crew members actually leaves. Because again, we had the whole Usopp thing of him fighting Luffy and shit, and of course, god damn it, screens went out. Did actually kick, sorry, Luffy did actually kick Usopp off of the crew, of course, but then he came back, like during like the Water 7 thing, like not fucking Robin, she did leave, but then they went to get her back. And of course, Zoro, god damn it, I am fucking everywhere. God fucking damn it. Luffy is now trying to go and save Sanji, but everything is stacked up to where that Sanji can't do anything to fucking bring to get out of this. Even if they beat the shit out of Big Mom and they stop the fucking wedding and that Sanji comes back or pretty much whatever, and like he tells his brothers off and shit, it's still set up in a way to where that he will have to leave. So it's very difficult to say. I really hope that I'm not right about this, because again, it's kind of starting to make me worry, because, you know, a lot of this shit Oda kind of after a while Oda kind of does these things in which that, like, you know, that kind of goes against the normal conventions. I mean, again, if he's willing to kill off Ace, like at a point to where that he really didn't even have to die, what's stopping him from pretty much, man, making like Sanji actually leave the fucking crew and be with like Pudding or some shit, or like have this wedding actually go through, and then Sanji just kind of just makes a deal and say, well, I'm not going there. But then again, I am not. However, then again, I am kind of, you know, throwing Jinbei under the bus. So it's a good chance that he may still come up and fix some things. But till then, that is what I gotta say about that. I will see you on the next John Grave show. Please keep watching anime, keep playing video games. And I know that the focus of my video is fucked up, but don't let that bother you, alright? I'm out.